Do it all the time.
Hey, guess what? What? Everybody, it's an excuse to get stressed out. Yes, it's exactly what we wanted. It's just our day. How about taking in?
Welcome to Disciplined Stoners, the gateway drug to mindfulness. Look deeper.
We're here to grow.
And welcome back to another episode of Disciplined Stoners. I'm your host, Ellevan.
My name is Winnie,
and we are the gateway drug to mindfulness. And today,
our next guest is so exciting.
Yeah.
Our next guest is a certified nutritional practitioner and holistic nutritionist, specializing in liver health. She's a holistic health entrepreneur running her own business, working with clients one-on-one, creating ebooks, and a line of wellness products, including our personal fave, which you know and we've talked about, CMOS. Please welcome Jenna Pixner!
a.k.a. Fitlistic Jenna.
Yeah.
AKA.
What an introduction. That was awesome.
Oh, you're
Way
the
to
best.
pump up the ego, guys. I love it.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, we want
That's what happens here.
your head big
Yeah.
and your confidence full as we go into this wonderful combo. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good afternoon now. We passed morning. It's now afternoon.
It's still morning for me. I've only been up for 3 hours.
Are you an early riser?
Depends on the day. I try to be an early riser,
Yeah.
but it depends on how my sleep went the night before.
Yeah, I know. I think you have to be so intense. Where I fail is that your great day starts the night before when you decide to go to sleep, right? And how you decide to go to sleep, and
sure.
if you're only getting 5 or 6 hours, which I'm sure you know at least some about, that doesn't necessarily mean your body's going to run on its best fuel.
And spoken truly like a holistic practitioner. Yeah. Can you tune us into a little bit the perspective that you're thinking from? There's a bunch of places we want to stop along the way. We've been neighbors. I was on your podcast.
Yeah,
you were one of the first podcasts I was on.
That's crazy, dude.
I know. So many full circles and friends. We're friends with Matt. I've ended up at your place with Devo and Matt at 3 a.m. Like, there's so many funny stories, but can we let's give you the professional platform for a minute to say what is your holistic approach to health, because we're fans and we want to get into the products that we got from you. You've also been in our show, Rhythm and Flow, but...
And maybe also, for people who are really into more westernized medical systems, what is a holistic health practitioner?
Yeah, so maybe I'll start with like the common misconception is that people look at it as like pseudoscience, which it's not. Essentially what it is, instead of like, so you go to the doctor, for example, right? And they're looking at like one organ. Say you're going to like, I don't know, a gastrointestinal specialist or something, right? They're just looking at your digestion. They're not looking at anything else, but everything is interconnected. So say something starts becoming sluggish in your body, everything else kind of slowly starts to become sluggish. So essentially what holistic practitioners do is essentially like we look at the same science that, the medical system will look at, but then what we do is we look at the mind, body, and spirit. So everything is interconnected, and there's this really interesting book. I know you guys are kind of into reading. It's
Gotta get down with the reading.
It's called Biology of Belief. So like there's actually science behind what your thoughts believe,
I
right?
actually would be super into reading that.
Dude.
Yeah, I forget who the author is, but I will send you I'll send you what it is. I'll find it.
I'll
put
find
that
it
here.
in the library.
But yeah, that one's really cool. But yeah, there's like science connecting your thoughts to the physical body, for example. And if you go into a medical doctor's office, they're going to think you're nuts.
Yeah.
But it's just like they think that way. Not that that's it's kind of like I don't know. I'm not going to...
It's a retroactive way of observing things from the point of matter instead of considering what energetic forms enter into the energetic form that
Exactly.
we are. And Western medicine, I'm gung-ho about what you bring to the table because you're actually like, kind of, but this. Whereas I'm just like, fuck you, kickback doctor cunt, fuck you. And you're just like, fine, you want to go XYZ this disease, but I'm going to tell you that this disease is a compound of this, and instead of chopping your fucking arm off or getting addicted to pharmaceuticals, we're gonna try some of this balance. And that is just
Exactly.
literally that school of thought
Yeah.
is, I believe, a more sensitive, tuned in, holistic
Exactly.
way of approaching it. So
Yeah.
how do you carry out this medium?
I do it in many ways. Honestly, it all depends. Like, mentally, I have the same like thoughts as you. Like, fuck, you know.
It's frustrating when they
it gets
just-
irritating because it's like, I will look at the medical system. I was like, yeah, it's a time and a place, and actually they work really well synergistically together. And if you can find a good functional medicine doctor, they will look at similar approach to what I do, but also incorporate, the medicine if that's something,
Which kind of medicine? Like the pills, you mean?
Yeah. So
Western
I mean, it depends what it is. Like, if you break your arm, you're not gonna go to a holistic nutritionist. Like, your bone's sticking out of your arm, and it's just like, yeah, I need a doctor. But when it comes to like, personally, I believe when it comes to chronic illness, it's not necessarily something I would want a doctor overseeing solely. Because basically, they look at like, okay, this is what's wrong, and we're going to put this Band-Aid over it. So, for example, if someone has like chronic pain or chronic inflammation, like,
numb it.
Yeah, just turn that feeling off. But then whatever drug they do to put that symptom out, like, they're not getting to the root cause, they're just turning off the symptom. Generally, there's like a whole slew of side effects from that medication. So it's almost like a snowball effect. Okay, so I'm taking this anti-inflammatory because I have chronic arthritis, okay? But then that has like, oh, this is causing issues to my stomach. Okay, we're going to give you this drug. And then, oh, that's going to irritate my mental health, for example. So you're piling on the different things. Or yes, they'll help with that specific thing, but with a price.
What does that do to your belief?
And so why would that, how has that gotten out of control? Because I don't think anyone, like, I don't know, I don't like to believe that I would go to my doctor and she would really, like,
Try to hurt you.
Do you think that doctors believe that it is a Band-Aid, or do you believe that they're actually, like, doing the work to heal the root issue? Or at least they think that.
I mean, I don't think doctors are there to purposely, intentionally do harm, I should say. They only do what they're taught.
They're
right?
listening
So
to their
it's the
boss.
school
It's
system
their
that-
Yeah.
it's their
so-
overlord.
And I mean, at the end of the day, if we're going to... Is it okay if I get a little controversial?
Oh, babe, that's why we brought you.
All right, so let's talk big pharma, okay?
Well, you have personal experience too, so you're not just fucking
Yeah.
yanking out the backside.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's crazy because, like, yeah, I've gone through my own personal health journey. I've seen how medical doctors can treat, somebody that seems very vulnerable. They scare you into doing certain things. They don't care what age you were. I actually had
You're a number too.
Yeah, I was actually 16 at a children's hospital, and I called my doctor. I'm like, I'm doing all this holistic stuff. All of my numbers are normal from the blood work. I want to wean off the medication. And you know what my doctor told me?
What?
He's like, if you do that, you're committing suicide.
Nice.
And I was like,
that's a little bit trippy.
yeah.
We had a light go out
That's
just right
crazy.
after that.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Sorry, is this on YouTube?
It's
Okay.
on YouTube.
No,
Yeah.
say whatever you like.
Okay.
And Spotify. Yeah, we don't censor.
Speak your
We're
Okay.
mind.
18
That's
plus.
what we're here for.
Okay, good. Because, like, essentially, it's like, how is a doctor saying that to a minor?
They're fucking
And then-
putting it in your mind.
Exactly, and it's just like, it was messed up. And I mean, I was still in high school, but I took biology, I took chemistry. And I was like, yeah, but if you're constantly feeding the liver these crazy medications that I was on, I'm like, my liver is gonna get worse over
Yeah.
time. And I'm like, okay, but if I'm doing the two, anyways, I
That's
can't recommend anyone do the same thing that I do legally. But basically, what I did, I slowly weaned myself off because my doctor refused to tell me how to do it myself.
And because I feel like sometimes the Western medical doctors, they feel like you're not allowed to know that.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have a medical degree. You didn't pay however much tuition. And
I just feel like...
they're like, you're not allowed to know that. And I just feel like that's the blind leading the blind. That's the sheep leading the blind.
Okay, there's two options for me here for this doctor, right? Like, because I'm an actor through and through. And I'm trying to get into this mindset. Like, you're telling, so completely inappropriate. That's like, no doctor should ever say that you're going to commit suicide, because that's what isn't your intention, and that is really scary, especially if you're young. That would be scary at any point, but especially if you're young. So he obviously wants you to stay on the drugs. That's what we're for. That first thing is like, he's saying something fearful because he believes either he has a belief system that these drugs are the right course for you, or he's getting paid.
I feel like it has to
keep
do
these
with
drugs.
indoctrination.
Yeah.
On like the educational level, like when you're studying to be a doctor, you have maybe 10-20 hours of nutritional stuff, like
Which
education.
is crazy.
So it
Which
doesn't
is
matter what you
nothing.
eat. That's what the statement of the system is saying.
Yeah.
It's no concern what you eat.
It's not going to change it, even though, your digestive tract has a lot to do with B vitamins, zinc, minerals, all this stuff. Oh, none of those supplements won't work. Take this drug. But it's like, if you give the body what it needs to properly function, how are you saying it's not going to heal itself? You know what I mean? Like, if you feed yourself garbage, what are you going to be? Garbage. Like, you're going to feel like complete shit.
Well, sorry, it happened. I mean, I hate that I'm having this thought so early in the episode, but during the pandy, I had dudes who were like 320, couldn't walk upstairs, tell me I need to get a needle for my health, and I'm like, no, back up to before this problem happened. What?
Right?
It's how we've bought in is astounding, and I commend and respect the owners of the humans, the pharma, the people who own the pharma company. They own most of the humans because they own most of the media. I commend you on your ability to market and control the mind. And I'm like, if we could get this information in that many people's hands to buy into it and believe it, there would be so many more healthy people. But it seems like holistic medicine or something that draws them away from that power structure really seems to be shushed up a bit. Do you feel like you face that in the community?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
And what, like,
I mean, this is part of the reason I was inspired to ask you on the pod anyways, because about 3 weeks ago, I think, you had mentioned something on your Instagram that's happening with Health Canada right now, I believe. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But it's really going to affect a lot of health and wellness practitioners and people in the business and what they're selling and what they can sell and what they can say.
And how many people?
It's absolutely wild.
I want you to let loose on that, but I'm just
Okay.
going to say that you don't always know from what communities the brainwash indoctrination has happened, because Health Canada is a structure is going to remove these items. There's going to be some people that adapt to that, and they're still in the health field, and they're like, "Oh, the overlord said no." Like the amount of people, like, so I'm saying, there's some of you that are going to stick to it. I believe that you're gonna not, like an Artie from Lift This It. He's gonna be like, he's like, get this holy basil, get this. Like he's telling me, like, so.
Well, I'm sure
Holy basil is crazy, dude.
We've been taking it.
Yeah,
It feels
it's
amazing.
life-changing.
But please rip and inform people straight down the center of what Health Canada has started to do to Canadians since we complied.
Okay, before I get onto that, I just got to say one quick thing.
Sorry.
When it comes to health and wellness and medical system, all I'm going to drop here is follow the money.
Yep.
Anyways,
that's
so
what it looks like.
Any industry.
Yeah.
And I'm an optimist in the way that I'm like, no, it can't be, but that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And we actually know one doctor, but that who literally got out of the field because she was like, I want to help people. Like, this
Right?
is what I signed up for.
it's crazy. And I mean, at the end of the day, medical isn't going to make money off of healthy people. Right?
They need sick people.
That's it. That's where they get their money from.
Access people through the mind first.
Right? That's it. Okay, so in regards to Health Canada, there is a lot of bullshit going on. Like, I can't, anyways, okay, this is going to be a long one.
Just go for it. Just go for it.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so I'm going to start with what you mentioned about, I basically went on a tangent on my Instagram story, and I do this occasionally when I'm just like, I just need to let it out. So
Well, you feel alone. When you feel like
Right?
you found out some shit that is not going right, you're like,
yeah.
and so you want to
But
share.
also, people need to know this because, like, I don't know if everyone's aware of this, but there was a censorship bill passed in Canada, I want to say about a year ago. Like, we can't see certain information because the government's blocking it. And that kind of integrates with the holistic health field because they will put some things I share that are actual information or things that I've experienced myself, whether it be with myself or with my clients, that'll tell me some of this information is false. And I'm like, how? Where'd you get that?
how
I
do
don't know
you-
who your fact checkers are, but they are not looking at the full picture.
They're paid by pharma.
Right, exactly. That's why I'm saying follow the money. Anyways, so I went on this tangent because I don't think I'm gonna mention the brand because I don't want them to get in, you know.
Yep.
But essentially a brand had reached out to me. And what they do is they do like a product called castor oil. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to find a lot of information on Google about it just because like there's a lot of controversy with it. But this castor oil is something I used when I was in my very intense liver protocol to heal myself. And basically what it does, it goes into your skin very easily and it softens the tissue. So it can help with a lot of different ailments in the body. Now, this company had reached out to me because I posted something about castor oil, but I ended up tagging them because I used their castor oil pack. And I mean, like, this company's
cool.
great.
That's
I
nice.
want to
That's free marketing for them.
Right? I'm like, let me just share this because this is wicked. And so they had reached out to me that day saying, hey, there's, I guess the FDA had come after them, saying that like they had to pull all their product and naturally derived from a seed, mind you, like
A plant.
right? Exactly.
We know all about weird laws being put on plants,
Exactly.
especially beneficial ones.
Yeah, no kidding, eh? Anyways, so what had happened was, I guess the FDA came after them. They had to reach out to everyone making claims about their product
Claims.
because it was going to affect them as a company, and she had mentioned that they could come after you. And I was like, are you friggin' kidding me? And she's like, we just kindly ask you to take it down.
Would that be like a cease and desist type thing? Is that what they mean when
It'd
they
be like-
say they could come after you?
If you have a license of any sort, their bureaucracy ties into the administration of your license.
Yeah.
That's mafia shit.
Yeah.
That's mafia shit.
And it's just like I wasn't even saying like this is gonna help everyone with this specific
Yeah.
thing. No, I was like, I use this for my personal health journey, and here was the benefits I experienced. But we can't talk about our own experiences if the
Wow.
government doesn't agree with it.
Whoa.
So that is essentially why I went on that
So
tangent.
they asked you to take down your
Positive.
review about their product.
Yeah, because they had to pull
Holy
all of
'Cause they're
their
scared.
stuff from. They had to pull all their stuff from their page. All of their products are on back order right now because they have to change the label because there's too many claims that they made.
Okay,
that
so when
they
you say,
can't.
so their label says this, it may help with da 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 da, and Health Canada's coming in there and saying you can't say that anymore.
Because we have a pharmaceutical partner that's also planning on treating that. And if your natural, cheaper product does it, then they do not have a market slice. And it's my job as disciplined stoners when I have a partner brand to position in the same way. So I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I've just reversed engineer how you position a market. And
Exactly.
but if you say this to any like good
And-
complying leftist, they will fucking stab you.
That's it.
And so since you went on this rant and I did just a very minimal, you know me guys, I don't fact check.
Headline chat.
Very minimal, but apparently I guess it would discourage some of these products from coming back to market because
yeah.
this label situation is actually highly expensive and really challenging
Yeah.
for small businesses.
And hurts
Exactly.
your marketing of your product. That is
Yep.
the real. It's like, hey, coffee. Tell me about coffee. Sell it to me, and don't tell me it gives me energy and tastes good.
Well, we've already drank it for so long that wouldn't.
No.
But I hear what
Did you
you're
just
saying.
come at me with that instead of accepting the fucking concept? Oh my god. You've already drank it. I don't need to sell it to you. I already
That's
win.
just true. Everyone knows that.
Hey, Winnie wins,
hear what
okay?
you're
Whatever.
saying.
You're like the government, Winnie.
I
wins.
gotta be. We can't all be fucking.
Say it. Say it. Conspiracy.
Conspiracy
When he's like,
theorist.
I need to be the even line here because the sheep out
Honestly,
here make it
I
feel
take
like.
that as a compliment nowadays.
Me
I'm like,
too.
you know what?
I think for myself, wow, what an
Yeah,
asshole.
it's not. It's really not a
What an asshole I am.
a diss
No.
anymore.
Yeah. No.
I love you.
Okay, so that's a huge deal, and that's going to affect a lot of companies and potentially put people out of business, essentially.
Yeah, so what they're trying to do, like Health Canada, is there's been a bills passed in government. I can't remember. I feel like it was Bill 69, and there was like all these different components of it. And if you look at it, it talks about heavy regulations to the natural health industry. So, for example, say you get your holy basil. They can't say what it can help with. It's what do they put in? They put in maintenance of good health.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they can even say that anymore. But a lot of brands are having to pull their product, relabel everything. Mind you, there's a lot of phenomenal natural health brands that actually come from the States and other parts of the world.
Yeah.
That some of them are even more advanced than Canada because their health regulations they believe in that. Like, for example, homeopathic medicine that started in Europe. And the homeopathic doctors were actually existed before medical doctors.
Right.
And then when medical
Right.
doctors came in, they're like, nope, we can't have you anymore.
Yeah.
Your stuff is just sugar pills. The amount of times I've heard that, I'm like, homeopathy is extremely cheap. And it works really quickly for most people, depending on, you should just work with a homeopath.
The way
or-
that you said that is like you've dealt with so many people that are like, it doesn't work for everyone. You know?
I mean, are you doing it right? Are you
that's-
taking it correctly? Has somebody guided you to take it correctly? If not, you're probably doing it
And
wrong.
do you believe? Are you waiting for this thing to go wrong? Are you waiting for this thing not to have any result? And then if you say so.
And then,
you say so.
Okay, so but with the sugar pills, right? Like there is obviously a placebo effect if there's this book with the biology and the thoughts and all. Joe Dispenza's doing a lot of that work, and he gets a lot of flack in the professional Western
And then
medical.
people find out that Dr. Joe Dispenza's got his doctor from being a chiropractor.
They hate
and
it.
everyone's like, you fucking fuck.
You're a quack.
Instead of trying to tear him down, why don't you listen to what he's saying and see that it fucking benefits everyone?
So,
Sorry,
but now, like and there's been so many studies, like placebos actually work. So it almost feels like the same way doctors, can say like you're gonna die or you're gonna heal yourself, and the rate of success for both of those is really high
it's another
because
form of
they've
belief.
planted
Yeah.
a seed, and the person is now believing that seed.
Yeah, and a lot of the times it scares people.
Yeah.
And when you're in fear, your body's in stress mode. Your body can't heal when it's in stress mode.
Literally,
It can.
Can we
Well,
be in stress mode while we sleep?
Yes, but then you're probably not going to wake up feeling rested.
Yeah.
Because most of your body does the healing at night. So when people are having shift work, for example, it can kind of throw off your system. You might not feel well. That's essentially why night shift workers get paid more because you feel like shit.
Yeah. Comedians don't get paid more, and they also feel like shit. This late night bullshit that comedians are doing is driving me crazy. It's, anyways, sorry, I had to throw that in there.
No, it's your experience.
Yeah. So can you talk a little bit about, your experience as a young person dealing with some health issues, and like when you kind of decided to really make the shift into like you want to help people using the knowledge that you've gained through your own experience?
Yeah, it's crazy. All right. So, when I was in high school, I can't remember, was I grade 11, 12? I don't know. But I got really sick, just out of the blue. And I'm home from school for 2 weeks. We thought it was a flu. It was a flu system.
You were pretty healthy otherwise?
Yeah, I rarely got sick. And it was very unusual. Like, I had the flu so bad. I remember it got to the point where I couldn't breathe.
Oh my gosh.
So that's why
That's
I ended
scary.
up going to the hospital. And I'm like, okay, we need to figure out what the heck is going on. And they're like, they gave me some medications. I don't remember what it was. Probably antibiotics. They sent me home with it. They're like, okay, you should be. They're like, oh, you probably just have mono. And I'm like, how would I have mono? My mom looks at me and I'm like, no, don't even give me that look.
So you're already spicy at 16
Oh yeah.
with your health.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I knew something was off, and I'm like, this is weird. Like, I never get sick, and I feel like I'm going to die. Like, it was bad.
When you say spicy, you mean like
you didn't believe the doctor already. Like, at 16, I would have.
Yeah, I'm just like, mono. I'm like, what is that? It's like, is that like basically, they described it to me to like a long-term, it sounded like a long-term flu. And they're like, okay, you should be good in about 3 months.
Ugh.
And
just
I'm like,
wait it out.
That's wicked. So
With pills and shit? Like, did they send you home with...
Yeah, I think they send me home with antibiotics. Honestly, I can't remember.
They're not going to miss the opportunity to shove some of their buddies' pills down your throat.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so I remember that was a really tough year for me. Because
Am I supposed to change?
No, I'm just...
Like, because I'm normally like that. Am I
think
supposed
it's
to
funny.
be like a lighter version of myself on this pod? I'm just letting it go.
I'm joking.
Sorry. It's good to have
I'm
the
just going to
balance.
sip the tea.
Yeah.
Be Kermit for a minute while the
And
married
also,
couple.
can I get a little hair off your glasses?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
I'm shedding.
It was Ralph. Ralph's here today.
I've been good, yeah. Sorry, we cut you off.
No, that's fine. I remember it was like a rough half. I think it was the springtime, so the last couple months of school. And I remember I was so ill that the doctor even said you shouldn't be going to school full time. So I was going to school like 3 days a week, and the other 2 days I was doing schoolwork at home. Like, I needed that much rest. It was pretty bad. And then I went back to the doctor, and my blood work was still like astronomically high, and they noticed my liver enzymes. I couldn't even do like my physical. I was involved in a lot of sports, so I couldn't do. I wasn't able to even participate in gym class because they're like, your spleen is so enlarged, if you get hit by anything, it's gonna like cause you to bleed out. And I'm like, that's alarming.
Jeez.
So by the summertime, I ended up going to a liver specialist because that was the main concern. My liver enzymes were like 800, and like they should be between, I think, 40 and 80 if I can recall correctly. But like basically I was a walking dead person.
Jeez.
And they're like, what is going on? And I remember I was in that specialist's office, the same one who wouldn't tell me how to get off the medication.
Jeez.
Yeah, I get kind of worked up
That's
when I think
okay,
about
buddy.
that guy.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck you, man. Anyways.
It sparked you and inspired.
Yeah.
It was supposed to happen along your journey to inspire you. So.
Exactly. So I remember I was in his office, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. And then he's asking me, like, naming all these street drugs. He's like, do you do this? Do you do that? I didn't know what the heck he was talking about. I'm like, sir, my parents were there because they were both, like, concerned. And I'm just like, sir, I go to Jesus school. I don't know what any of this stuff is. I've never seen it. I've never heard it. I don't know what you're talking about.
You go to Jesus school?
Yeah.
Fuck, I go to Jesus school too.
I was just like, I don't know what's going
No,
on.
she literally went to
Yeah,
like
I
private
went-
school,
yeah, I
like
went to-
Catholic school.
No, I know. I just
Oh.
like
Yeah,
the term Jesus school.
I know. me
Jesus
too.
is a friend of mine.
He is.
Jesus is a friend of mine. Well, if we talk about Christ, the idea of
Mm-hmm.
awakening to your consciousness inside of yourself, the Bible being a metaphor to the inner temple, of course not a historical account by any means.
Well,
I'm fucking contradictory in this one too, aren't I? We're all
that's
spicy.
okay. You know what? That's fine.
Are you religious?
I wouldn't consider myself religious.
Would you
'Cause
consider
I
the
don't-
stories of the Bible a historical account?
I'll just give that to you.
Just pass her over.
Because I was going to say,
It depends.
your rebelliousness towards Western medicine. I took a shot in the dark there. I missed. If you find a certain, I don't want to say resentment, but my dad specifically went to a Catholic school as well, and he found himself with a bit of a attitude as well towards authority and structure. And I thought perhaps that's how you, to answer Winnie's question, I thought that's maybe how you landed on the kind of of the Western medicine, but no, it's
Yeah.
because you were sick. You
Yeah.
do follow Jesus in the religious sense.
Yeah,
and
well,
you-
I mean, it wasn't a Catholic school. Sorry to cut you off.
No, please.
It wasn't a Catholic school. It was just a private Christian school. I believe the
a
denomination was
private
like.
Christian school is even more intense.
Well, I mean, it depends what you consider intense. Like, there
Yeah.
was still.
You guys
stupid
pray
shit
every
happening.
morning?
No, but we'd have like assembly once a week, and there would be like, some Jesus songs, and like we'd pray and like
Nice.
yeah, but like
I like prayer.
Do you take Holy Communion? When you-
yes, but it's a little bit different than Catholic.
Okay.
So I was raised Lutheran, which is a little bit different than Catholic, but we do still participate in communion.
The body of Christ, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's metaphorically speaking, but I mean, it just depends. Like,
Well, the
that's why I
whole
don't-
thing's a metaphor. The idea that there's even just the ceremony is basically just for people to get together and share harmony, probably.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think being in a same building with people who believe the same thing is necessarily going to be a bad thing.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
It's just a harmony. It's just a gathering.
And I feel like how I was raised kind of brought to me where I am in a moral standpoint.
Faith.
Like, I'm not there. Yeah,
You have faith. Yeah,
And I
yeah.
even have a tattoo that says faith.
Love. So that's what's up. That's what's up. So you actually
Yeah.
used it to believe, to have more of your own autonomy,
Exactly.
if you will.
Yeah. And I feel like, I mean, regardless of people to believe it or not, I truly believe in the power of prayer, and I think that's something that
totally.
really helped me get through this. And
Yeah, I love prayer.
Right before all of this kind of happened, my diagnostic and everything, I was struggling mentally, and I hadn't told anybody. Like, I was just kind of like fighting it myself, and like I was about to give up on my faith and everything, and then this happened, and then I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna die. I'm just gonna fix this.
You let it guide you.
Yeah,
You let
exactly.
It guide you
And
to
I just
inspiration.
it brought me a sense of peace. So it depends. Like, however anyone wants to look at it. I just don't like the name religious, because I feel like it puts you under this umbrella that
Sure.
it's just like you have to be perfect and you have to do this
No.
every week and you have to.
I was at
Can't
a
be a
Catholic
little
church.
slut.
It's good to be a little slut, though. That's being God too. If you're a slut,
that's
it's
what I'm
God
saying.
too.
It's godly.
You're a God too, and it loves you, expressing through you. Don't feel shame. Don't feel guilt. You can repent in your own movement forward. Don't
Yep.
worry about going backwards and being locked. So here's a funny thing. Here's why I use the word religious specifically, and I never do. We were at a friend's celebration of life yesterday, and it was at a Catholic church, and I hadn't been there, and in a minute. But I'm a confirmed Catholic, and I decided to take communion because the whole process was going. And I'm like, okay, this is religion, because I'm the most spiritual cat in the bag in most rooms I'm at, right? So it's like, I'll go eye to eye philosophically with the people who wrote that fucking Bible. I want to talk about God as we all are on a molecular level across the board. There's no one confinement or no one. There's just the one. Nature, I call it, universe that created us all. But when I observe religion, it organizes humans in an ideology
Yeah.
of a connection with a higher power, but religion puts it at the point of they are the administrating tap. And I'll tell you exactly why, and I observed it deeply yesterday. I've been thinking about it ever since, and it's a hilarious story, so
Yeah.
you'll enjoy it. So I go for communion, and all these folks are regional, so they know this parish and the flow. And, I'm confirmed, Catholic, we're like, what, take your time, like, this is church.
You did the whole school and stuff.
I did the whole, I'm a confirmed Catholic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So also, I understand being told about Jesus and it not working on me, but then going spiritual and doing drugs and finding God and looking at it as myself and looking at it as my connection through. Anyway, we can go into that for a minute. Let me finish the story. We'll get back to you though too.
Okay.
So I step up to Father, right? You do your thing. I mean, unless you're a girl or altar boy, you go. I'm like, I go like this. And then so I got the cracker, and I guess I was taking a longer time with it than Father would have liked.
Oh, no.
And he's like, he gives it to me, and he's like, put it in your mouth. I got told by a priest yesterday to put it in my mouth.
That's so insane.
And okay, but here's what was happening when I laughed at that. I felt a little, almost like in front of everyone,
it did look shameful. He was aggressive.
He was almost like this,
yeah,
like,
he was
"What
like,
the
get
fuck,
it in
bitch?"
your
Like,
mouth.
He was the alpha
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
space. And so I'm like, okay, spiritualism doesn't come with that alpha and the regiment of how I should receive your blessing of the flesh of Christ, which should be connected to my Christ, which is our Christ, if it is so defined in your structure. And I realized I wasn't accepting the Father's blessing. I was blessing it myself. Because with every like, I'm actually probably more religious than you, Father, because with every bite I ever take, I think about this food and I give it a blessing for myself before I put it down. Yeah. And I think about it will nurture my body. That is more, sir, like I encourage you to show me something more godly than that, gratitude. Yeah. And it was just I'm like, that's religion. The structure of receiving and the belief of disassociation from God to be given, only to be given back, only to be given back the gift of Christ through inspiration. And, but his word are not art thou. You know what I mean? For me, I didn't like, I bless you and I'll bless you right back, Father. I'll bless this whole parish right back. Like, and I'm like, so religion is that.
I wasn't allowed to eat the cracker.
And then so I realized.
I can't either.
That's spiritualism. And then with the other is. And exactly. No, I know. And that's what I'm saying. Like, running up the flagpole is like Catholicism. And then, like, it goes back to, like, my parish in Vancouver and that Father John and him being connected and that to the Catholic Church somehow. And
he also did say that if you wanted a blessing as a non-practicing Catholic, that you could come get one like at a later time.
Gotta put a cross,
but he did not make himself available to give those blessings at a later time.
They packed up and got the fuck out of there.
I'm out of here.
And also, you got to go like this. If you want to get if you're not, you got to go like this. So you have to block your heart. You have to, and I'm just like, that to me sounds like religion. Weird. But then if you think about it, we're so free now, it seems weird. But 1,000 years ago, when it was war, fights, and famish going on, I could go in the house of prayer and just be safe for a minute as long as I acted like a decent human. And those conformed lines of Father saying, accept my blessing, I'm the dominant alpha energy here, I am speaking to God, you are not. It was because humans were fucking filled with syphilis and we were wild. Like, fucking church needed to be that sort of sit down and pray because we were animals. So I'm like, right now, I understood it from the celebration of life. Okay, it's good to have everyone have this kind of sacred space. But I wanted to share that story about religion and then spiritualism. And I think I've landed back at Christ through my psychedelic and meditation, back to say, right on. Like Ram Dass, like right on, man. Like, I am also Jesus Christ. You are also Jesus Christ, meaning he's living in you. Anyway,
yeah, exactly.
I just went.
That's
I just
genuinely what I believe,
and that's what I feel too. So it's like we kind of access there.
Like, you don't need a third-party person to speak to God for you. Like, I think that's why I was like, I don't like to be under this umbrella because I feel like it's very dictatorship.
Well, yeah, and it's
that's not how it should be.
It's so hand in hand with, I think, how you think about the body, and I feel like Western medicine wants to govern like that religious structure. This is my blessing. How dare you challenge my blessing? I built this fucking building, a hospital, a church, to bring value to this space in life, and like, how dare you challenge me? But doesn't science suffer when unchallenged? Doesn't faith suffer when unchallenged? Like, so it's like you're doing amazing, important work from the nucleus of health considerations, using the same tools, but coming up with a different equation.
Exactly.
I feel like that's how I did spiritually, and like you're doing that like physically for our bodies. And let me tell you, we fucking need it.
Yeah.
Humans don't know what
now
to do with their body.
Now more than ever. It's crazy.
We don't know what to do with our body, it seems.
That was a very fun little side turn that we took.
Yeah, sorry.
I really enjoyed it, actually. Can you?
I would have just left. I'm like, bye.
Dude, if I was bi, I would have got a quarter chub.
I know, because it was kind of aggressive. Like, it looked sensual almost. In my memory, it was a little sensual. Maybe I'm going to turn this memory into like a little fantasy bank.
Oh my goodness.
I'll give you the cracker.
Perfect. So we were talking about your diagnosis.
Right.
And your enlarged spleen.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was
Yeah.
huge. I was so inflamed. Anyways,
And then
so
I think we left off when your parents were in the
yeah, so
hospital room
I
with
was
you.
in the doctor, and then he's questioning about all these drugs. Like I already told him, I don't know what he's talking about. And then he's like, I just need to speak to her alone. So he literally does all the same thing for me, and like interrogates me pretty well. And I'm like, this is really uncomfortable. He's like, come on, tell me what you're taking. I'm like, I'm not taking anything. I don't know. It's like, I take Advil when I have a headache. Like, that was it. And he's like, and then before my parents could come back, he's like, I need to draw some more blood. He takes like 13 tubes of blood. I'm pretty sure he's drug testing me for everything. And I'm like, all right, all comes back
That's too many
negative.
tubes.
Right? Yeah, I was really tired after that, to be honest. I'm like, do you have a cookie or something? But yeah, so I remember like, and then he's like, yeah, so we can't figure out what it is or what it's caused from, da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, well, neither can I, because I already told you could have saved all this time. But anyways, so a couple weeks later, I had to come back for a liver biopsy. And essentially what that means is they put like the straw, like, probably about the size of this, a straw-like tube in your skin, take a piece of your liver, and then they put it under a microscope and
Wait,
look at
how
it.
do they get it through your skin?
It's
Through
like
your
it's,
ribs.
it's like a thick needle. Like I
That's
wasn't.
fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Have you ever heard of the word biopsy? That's what they're doing.
That's
So-
not. That's gross.
I didn't
I
even
know.
know you could do that.
Yeah, you take
without
you
like
take
killing
it-
someone.
No. You take a small, like this size.
Hey, you know what?
That's
my,
not small.
My fucking divine thing, my divine vehicle made that much liver for a reason. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Did you scar?
No, not really.
Okay,
Like
so
it wasn't. Honestly, it wasn't
Chicks
put
get
out. It was
scars.
just like frozen, and then it
Oh,
was like
frozen,
it was
okay.
like a 3-minute procedure.
That's pretty incredible also that you
Yeah.
can go into an organ from the outside of our bodies without
Yeah.
entering our
Well,
mouth.
here's the other thing too. The liver is the only organ in the body that can fully regenerate itself.
Oh, like a lizard tail?
Yeah.
Huh?
You know how people
Why? Why?
people get liver transplants, or like somebody donates a part of their liver to somebody else
It can,
because it
like-
can grow back.
Oh my god.
Does it always?
Yeah, it should.
Like
I mean,
it
unless
would.
there's an underlying thing, but like
Okay.
scientifically, the
Dude.
liver's the only organ that can fully regenerate itself.
Mycelium. It's like it's made of like inside the quantum field. It can like reform. It can
Yeah.
like did you watch the mycelium documentary
No, but I know
about
what
like
you're
mushrooms?
referring
The concept.
to. Yeah,
It looks like the quantum field, and it's like
Yeah.
it's like oh my god, it's able to like regenerate. That's
That is
incredible.
so strange.
Okay, Winnie's doing this thing where she's changing the word interesting to string and making it her own proprietary
I just
slang.
I came up with a slang word called string. Try it out. Anyways,
Start using that.
String.
is there any like medical or like DNA reason or historical reason why that would be the only organ that can regenerate? Wouldn't it be beneficial to us if all of our organs could regenerate?
I mean, it would be,
course.
but I mean, that's not.
One step at a
Or
time.
evolutionary reason? Why would that be the only one?
Because it filters.
It filters all the shit.
It's
Like, if it
it's
gets
taking beating.
Yeah, it's like think about people who are like, for example, alcoholics that never have liver issues. It's because their liver can
Filter
rid it
out.
and filter it. Like it's meant to get hard hits sometimes, and it can heal itself.
So everything that can bounce back, it's like a boxer can't be scared to get hit.
Well, it depends where he's getting it.
I'm just saying it's part of
Yeah.
boxing.
Not if he
Chuck.
has an enlarged spleen.
Yeah, seriously,
All
that
right,
was wild.
reach of an analogy.
Yeah, so after that, they fully diagnosed me because they can see what's going on. There was inflammation, there was scarring. So they called it autoimmune hepatitis, which is basically inflammation of the liver that, like, is caused by autoimmunity. And there's no, I guess, science that can say where autoimmunity comes from, but there's a whole slew of different things that is now in our environment over the Industrial Revolution that wasn't in before. Like, autoimmunity was not a thing
Yeah.
40, 50 years ago. You know what I mean? And now it's like everyone and their sister has it at this point. It's like lupus, for example.
What do you think has changed in those years?
Everything. Remember when we were talking about the people who own pharma and own humans? Yeah, there's a lot of shit in our environment now. So, like, in the 90s, that's when they really started to, genetically modify things in our food system.
Right.
And they didn't test that before, they told people, eat it, it's healthier.
Yeah.
And it's
It
like...
looks like a tomato, eat it.
Yeah, right? And it's just like...
It's a very large tomato, sir.
Convenience really came up in the 90s too.
That
so like
too.
cake in a cup and like using the microwave all the time.
And, like, buying stuff that's pre-made and not making it at home.
Michelina's.
Yeah, I remember that commercial.
I lived off Michelina's
Me
in my
too.
college years.
In my teenage
See,
years.
you guys got strong livers.
Yeah.
Thank you, liver.
Thank you.
Love
That's actually the other side.
Thank you, liver.
It's right here.
There's
Oh,
one
it's
liver.
here
Yeah,
under
it's
your
one-
this
It's
place.
like right here.
I love you, liver.
Yeah,
Where's the spleen?
on the other side.
They work in tandem.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was just...
Well,
Well,
all
I
of it
mean,
does.
everything kind of works together.
Holistic.
Is everything
Shout out
encased
holistic.
in like a bag or something?
Fascia.
Skin.
Fascia in between, right? Oh yeah, yes. Oh my god.
The body is.
There is.
wonderful.
There's small fascia tissue bags around basically everything,
Right.
kind of. I think separating.
Yeah,
That's wild.
Okay, keep
it is
going.
wild.
And also, I was just gonna say, I want you to get to these health products that we are a fan of too, and talk a little
Absolutely.
bit about those offerings.
Do we have a time limit?
Oh yeah, no.
No time limit. I think
We'll
we're
get
at like
there.
45. We'll probably call it at like 110. But no.
We're already at
no.
45 times.
Yeah,
I know,
that's
right?
crazy.
I know. I just wanted to shoot that up there and put that intention up there. But no, we can keep going until
Yeah.
it's all said. Like,
Yeah.
no pressure.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
If we're
also
flowing.
say, also get there. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
continue flowing. Where are you going?
Yeah, so basically when I got diagnosed, I'm like, okay, taking medications for the rest of my life doesn't make sense when I have liver problems. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So I'm like, okay, let me try all this other stuff. So I went to see, a naturopath, a Chinese medicine doctor. I went to see
Is
a nutritionist.
is that influenced by your mom, or why did you choose to? I mean, at
No,
that time,
her and I both looked into it.
but you kind of were just like, this is because
I was like, there's got to be a way. I was like, if the liver can regenerate itself, you got to be able, like, putting your liver to work isn't going to make a sick liver better. That's how I looked at it. I'm like, there has to be another way. So we both looked into it together, of course, because, like, I was a minor. I didn't really have
Right.
a lot of money, and, my
Thanks,
parents loved
Mom.
me. Thanks, Mom. Dad.
Thanks, Mom.
Wonderful. But yeah, so then, we went to see all these different practitioners. Of course, I was taking the medication because, like, if you don't take this, you're gonna have to get a liver transplant in 6 months, and the list is so long, you're not gonna get on it, and you're gonna die.
And they say this shit to you?
Yeah, that's what they told me.
That's really nice to hear those things.
Yeah, it was wicked. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna prove you wrong, which I did. And technically, when you're off medication,
Praise Jesus!
right? You're in remission. So after 6 months, I weaned myself off of it.
Faith.
And exactly. And I was doing all this natural stuff, and we were still testing my liver all the time to make sure it was still normal, and everything was normal.
Dude,
Wow.
you
Right?
fucking did it
And-
holistically. Your first client was yourself.
Yeah. And then, like, it was funny because going into high school, I was like, it'd be really cool to be a nurse. Like, I loved Grey's Anatomy, and I was like, this is wicked, like, helping people. And so I was like, I don't want to go to school to be a surgeon. That takes way too long. But I could be a nurse. And then when all this stuff happened, I'm like, well, I kind of want to go into the more natural field.
Yeah.
I'd rather people learn how to take care of their body before it gets to the point where I was at. Because
Before.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah, preventative. That doesn't exist in the medical...
In the Western medical field,
Yeah, it doesn't. So it's just like, if you can prevent this from happening, then we don't have to worry about all these scary procedures you have to end up taking. I mean,
Dude.
if I wasn't as strong mentally back then, I probably would have just cracked.
Dude.
Because, like, that's a lot. That's a lot
Yeah.
at that time. And, yeah, so that's kind of how I went into holistic health. And then that's when I started looking at, holistic schools and things like that. And I'm like, okay, well, you can't go through, the government doesn't fund holistic health schools. So it was kind of like something you had to foot the bill yourself, which was also a challenge. But, like, I made it work.
Wow.
Yep.
And, yeah, that's kind of what...
Do you think that the
got me.
government will ever want that stuff to be seen, or you think it's because their buddies get too much money from it? From the other?
It depends. I think that kind of a little bit people control that a little bit. Like if more people start going the holistic health way and they realize that it's something that they want to share, and more people just start using it.
Yeah.
But that must be tricky for you, right? Like, I talk to people who sometimes people are so wonderful. They just
Aren't people wonderful?
People are wonderful. I like people. But they'll tell you about their lives and
All of it.
their ailments and stuff. And I'm often like, oh, have you tried seeing a naturopath or someone in more a holistic? And it's always no. I've literally never had anyone be like, oh yeah, I'm using one, or I went to one and I didn't really resonate with it, or yeah, whatever it is. It's just always like, oh no, I didn't think of that.
I feel like a lot of that, especially now, has to do with the fact that you go to a doctor, it's medically funded. You don't always come out with a fat bill. But like when you go to a naturopath or, a Chinese medicine doctor or anything like that, right? Like, unless you have really good insurance and benefits with your work, which many people don't, it's you're footing the bill for that. Like to see a naturopathic doctor, the first session, you could be paying between $300 and $500.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just like, especially now with inflation, thanks Trudeau.
So it's a choice and it's an investment.
Exactly.
But here's the cool thing. That investment, hopefully you don't need to go again. Like the other thing is free because they're like, come on back, and then they're like, another visit.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
it's like, I think if you go to a naturopathic a couple times for something, tops a couple times.
Depending on what your shit is.
Yeah, like if you're very far along in an illness, it could take 6 months to a couple of years to fully heal, depending on what it is.
How frequently do you visit?
Well, it depends. Like, it depends on the person, right? So if you're going with, like, I don't know, heart disease or something, and it's like, okay, probably want to see you again in a couple weeks, a couple months to see where you're at after you've been consistent
they're like
with this
updates.
protocol. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then they tweak things as you go to keep, and a lot of naturopathic doctors can request blood work, right?
Dude,
So that's helpful too, but not all of them. That's another issue with the government. But yeah, when we were talking about, the natural wellness and maybe integrating with like pharma, there's actually like some supplements might turn into something you need a prescription for, so it won't be as accessible.
So talk about this Health Canada taking things off the shelves and how that's impacting your business as a product provider.
I mean, I'm not really expanding too much as a retailer. Like, being in retail stores, Artie, he'll carry my CMOS, which is great. Again, that's a food product, right? So it's a little bit different. But
so you're not as impacted, but like those things, what are happening to the things that are being told to take off the shelf? Like,
they could become prescription only.
Okay.
They could be banned from Canada. Or it's these companies having to pay way more to get their product on the shelf. And then at the end of the day, you're paying $40 for your holy basil that lasts you 3 months. It could make it from $40 to $100 because the cost for the manufacturer,
so they're basically just making it inconvenient.
That, and some of it's getting completely pulled.
And what do you think is the interest?
The interest is not wanting people to heal. Like I said, healthy people don't make pharma money.
And don't give hospitals, what
right,
they need
but
to
when
sell.
you think about a couple years ago, they're like, oh, our hospitals are overwhelmed. But, like, wouldn't you want this to help it not be as overwhelmed?
Yeah. So,
So
you said, you want to help people get to a good place before they get to the place that you were. If someone's feeling healthy, they take pretty good care of themselves, whatever, what would be a reason for them to come see you?
chronic stress is a good start. Like if you can't sleep, if you're constantly stressed, like I mentioned, your body can't function when it's in stress mode. It's in fight or flight.
Yeah.
Right? If you're in fight or flight, your body's not even breaking down nutrients when you're eating. So you're not getting, it's basically you're just eliminating it.
So how are you going to help someone get into a more healthy flow in that position? Like say if someone comes to you with that stress, because I know a lot of people have crippling anxiety. A lot of folks in our cannabis community write us and share about how cannabis has helped them as at a medicinal level, as a tool to help create some homeostasis, I guess, or
Yep.
in their body flow, the energy and the way that their system works. What are you going to do to help align someone in that position?
Well, yeah, I mean, it all depends on the person's lifestyle, right? It can have to do with the job. It can have to be in the environment they're living in. It could have to do with environment they're living in, whether it be people or whether it be physical environment. So say you're living in a place that you didn't know is just full of black mold. That's going to deteriorate your health, whether it's slow or quick, and that can cause you to be sluggish constantly, right? Are you drinking tap water every single day? You know how, depleted that is and what chemicals that's in it? Like, what people don't realize, in Canada, most of Canada, we have beautifully filtered water, but we don't realize that for example, a lot of people are on birth control or other medications. Well, and when we flush the toilet, for example, we're reusing that same water, but there's no way to filter out those drugs, right? So it's just
at a molecular level.
Exactly. And I mean, it's not like the cities are going to invest in expensive kind of machinery to filter that or
because
research that.
You go to someone's house and they have the dope filtration add-on to their kitchen sink, and it has a water function, and I'm like, damn, that's fly as fuck. And he's like, yeah, man, it was only $1,800 and it makes me this much healthier. And I'm like immediately, right? Over a long time, it probably add a decade to your life, but immediately it's hard. So, I mean, if a human can't do it, of course the city's not going to justify it.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, it's lifestyle things. So people will come at me and say, oh, it's too expensive to, be on these. It's okay, it's fine. You don't have to start with supplements. But, there's teas. A lot of different herbs have natural benefits to the body, and it's very minimal dose. But depending on if these people are on medication, then you can't take certain herbs because they are counteracting each other.
They've already accessed them. If someone's on a medication, it's like, pharma gotcha. Goodbye.
It's interesting because I've worked with a lot of people who had been on medications, and they're like, it isn't working.
And then they're just told, the doctor's like, stick with it, don't take anything else. And they're just like, professional told me that? Okay, no, I can't do raspberry leaf tea. The fucking doctor told me no. What I mean?
Right, and it's just that's why it's really important when you're trying to go through a holistic healing journey to work with somebody who is educated in that field, because as much as there nobody dies from supplements in Canada, nobody. Look it
That's
up.
great.
A lot of people die from medications because they're not taking them properly or whatever. They're drinking their medications without. I'm not going to get into that, but also at the same time we can talk about how the government's literally giving people drugs, street drugs, and being yeah, it's safe. But no natural health products. I'm but
I know, it's so counterintuitive.
Right? LCBO is essential.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want you to keep drinking.
You know what I mean? It's just
Numb,
when you take a step back and just look at the big picture of what's going on, it's just there's small things you can do. If you don't want to do supplements or anything like that, you can't afford to work with somebody to guide you on supplements, start with a food.
Yeah.
It's the most inexpensive way to start your healing journey.
Yes.
And eliminate your environmental stresses, because generally that's going to be the root cause of a lot of illnesses. It's just our body starts whispering to us, be hey, this is not, you shouldn't be doing this. It gets louder and louder, and then it starts friggin' screaming, and that's when you go see the doctor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's if you can be in tune with your body, it takes some time, but if you can be in tune, okay, I ate this today, or I feel like shit, and it's just okay, well, I went and ate McDonald's for lunch, and I feel like crap this evening and bloated. I'm okay, well, it's probably because you had a bunch of fried food.
Yeah.
It's okay,
Dude, sugar is I'm not gonna say
Sugar-
that, but it is crazy for me right now.
Sugar, oils, honestly, it's very hard to find a place that you're not eating in your home where you can actually know everything that's going in it. You know what I mean? And it's just
my home's all one, so everything's in it.
Yeah, and it gets challenging now because these days everything's so expensive. Everyone in the family structure has to work to make ends meet, but then they don't necessarily have the time to plan out their week of how they're gonna eat
Yeah.
You know what I
for
mean?
sure.
And it's just like the fast-paced society has really fucked that shit up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like
Yeah, don't put your nutrition first.
Yeah, and it's
Put
like, oh,
your money first.
but it's so expensive to live. But if you take a step back and you feed yourself the right things, guess what? You're not going to be spending as much money because your body's going to be nourished longer.
And you're not going to be stressed out mentally, so then you won't have the lack mentality to keep yourself broke.
Yeah. It's a mental and physical thing. You can
Yeah.
be physically stressed, mentally stressed, either or. Your body's in stress and you can't digest
Go to the fruit
anything.
market. Go to the fruit market. Spend $50 at the fruit market instead of the processed bullshit. You know what? It sucks. You're lazy.
Yeah.
That's what you don't want to hear. You're
you're
fucking
lazy.
lazy. You don't want to go to the fruit market. You can't even begin to I'm talking to part of myself. You can't even begin to fathom what bag to take so you don't get charged for a bag. Or you don't know even what you're going to get before you're there. And like on the other side of that adventure is you being back at home with like, fuck yeah, olive oil and kale, hot pan, delicious green snack that's going to make my body like boost itself,
Yeah.
as opposed to supermarket thing in plastic. Even if you buy the shit, the natural GMO tomatoes at the Loblaws that you go to, it's in a fucking it's plastic. It's
Yep.
all in plastic.
But you can't take it home in a bag. Do you see all the fruits and veggies that just saran wrap?
And then
Yeah.
they
I'm
just-
like, you can't even reuse that.
Yeah.
and then like just all the salads that are like, I mean, I get it, plastic is super valuable just to like transport things, but like you can feel the difference in the energy to when you go to the fruit store. Like I go to this little awesome, it's like a Korean store on Bloor, like
Nice.
fruit market.
Yeah.
And they're just awesome. You see the trucks constantly pulling in with
Yep.
like the fresh stuff, like probably some of it's probably from Mexico, you know, but like for the most part, they'll always have an Ontario option, a local option, and they're just coming off the trucks like in like open flats.
Well, it depends what's in season too, and that's the other thing.
Shop through season, yeah.
When it comes to health and wellness, especially in Canada, or depending on where you live, shop what's in season on where you live. Your body has adapted to that environment, so you gotta fuel it. Like when you're in the Caribbean,
Yeah.
you're exposed to the sun. You have access to all these beautiful fruits
Coconut.
just off the trees, and it's
Mango.
like everyone's like, "Oh, it's too much sugar." I'm like, are you just looking at it as sugar? Or are you looking at all the vitamins and nutrients that protect your body from
Fiber.
skin cancer and fiber and all that stuff? You know what I
Oh,
mean? It's
that's
just
good.
like eat based on your environment. Canada, we're gonna eat a different diet than the Caribbean because like more than half the year just is gray, and you know,
Potatoes.
Yeah, and then I
We
mean
need
that's
more potatoes.
how you have to do it. And then to get into like how I kind of like started my wellness line of like my ebooks, my one-on-ones, and everything like that.
But you
The
blessed
CMOS?
us with the CMOS, yo.
Yeah.
You changed our fucking
I mean,
life.
I'm
As
telling you.
smokers,
We need a whole. I want you to talk about CMOS. I
All
want
right.
you to how did you find CMOS? And tell why is it good?
Winnie
Please.
loves this.
I
Winnie
love
Okay.
CMOS.
loves
It
this.
really.
She
Okay.
sells it for you on a daily
Oh.
basis. She talked about it yesterday when we
I
were
love
at our
CMOS.
store. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god, I should have just brought you guys one. Just like, here, I'm blessing you. You guys gave me all this coffee, this kombucha. But yeah, so what inspired me to it? It was actually during COVID when I was at home and I saw I was looking into, because I was scared at the beginning because like an autoimmune condition, you're vulnerable. That's what they said. So I was scared at the beginning. I'm like, oh, if I get it, I'm gonna die. First of all, I never got it. Right? And like, okay, so I was on Instagram, as we all were, looking at different stuff, and I was looking into health stuff, and then I actually got this advertisement for this company called Rich Soul Foods. Okay? And it's crazy because I follow the guy who founded it. I think his name is Akeem. Anyways, I hope he's watching this because like, dude just moved to Toronto, and I'm like, if I ever met this guy, I just want to shake his hand and be like, you inspired me to help more people in this way, because his company is in the Caribbean. Again, that's kind of where I source my CMOS because that's the best source. He has all these herbs that I've never even heard of, because in different parts of the world there's different, and I was looking into all this stuff and I'm like, you know what, let me try this CMOS. So I ordered a bag, and I'm like, COVID, I didn't have it, like I wasn't even on EI, I didn't have a job. I was like, I'm still gonna get this and try her out. Wow. And then I saw how amazing it was for me. And I'm like, yo, I need to start figuring this out. And the reason why I got into CMOS and the teas that I do, I mean, him and his company was the inspiration.
Wow.
But, you know, like, the way I saw it was like, okay, not everyone can afford to see a nutritionist or a naturopathic doctor, but it starts with food. And how can I make this accessible for everyone? Because like I said, the foundation is nutrients. And it all starts with food. And if you can incorporate different things, it's not going to cost a lot. It's just the knowledge you need to, like, you just need to know this is what can potentially help with these different ailments. This herb is known as an expectorant. Same with the CMOS. It can expel excess mucus, and if you know, or you're a disciplined stoner, you have a lot of that. So you know, you gotta get it out. And I don't know, I can't remember what you said when you first tried it, but I think you said you felt like you were coughing a lot.
It's leaking.
Yeah.
We go, I'm leaking.
Yep. So during
love
COVID,
it.
when I first tried it, everyone was freaking out because I was sneezing, I was coughing. I'm like, I have a lot of stuff built up in my, like, literally 3 weeks.
Yes.
When we first did it under your guidance with how to use it.
Okay, but so exactly. So
like
you gave us the
mucus.
CMOS because I trust you and I was hooked immediately. So you gave us the CMOS, and then you didn't tell us though. You actually forgot to tell us that it was going to have those effects. And so both of us, about 5 days in, I was like, I am so snotty. Like everything is just coming up. I don't feel sick, but like it's just. And he was like, yeah, me too. What is going on? What have we changed?
Did
And-
I not tell you? That's so sorry.
And no, literally
told
like
everyone
on
that.
day 5, you were like, "Oh, hey, I forgot to mention
came back
this
with
is
it.
what happens." And it was after we had started really experiencing it, and I was like, "Oh my god, we were just saying
what
that."
that
Like,
is.
Yeah.
that's and then I was after that I was like, I actually am so glad that it happened the way it happened, because for me it was like an affirmation of like, oh, it's someone didn't tell you something and then you experience it. You were experiencing it, and then someone affirmed that it's because of a
Yeah.
product that you just started implementing.
Yeah.
So after that, I was like, oh my god, if I'm gonna smoke,
Magic.
like I'm gonna have this
Yeah.
in my life on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And but it also is so good for other things too.
Yeah,
right?
like it's so, like, I mean, it's like 90% of the minerals your body requires to function day to day. And what people think of when they think of food, they think of vitamins. Because vitamins, you need an abundance of it. But minerals, it's like minuscule nutrients that your body requires, right? And that's why you can get so many in a spoonful of CMOS. But it's very minimal because you don't need a lot,
Right.
right? But if you don't have those minerals, and the thing is, based on, like, even tap water, for example, it'll deplete minerals based on what's in it. And then we don't realize if we have mineral deficiencies, we're constantly tired all the time, our joints are sore, like we can't digest properly. Like zinc is a huge component of digesting protein. Straight up, like if I'm gonna get nitty gritty,
Shit.
if there's large pieces of stuff that you don't know what it is in your shit, you're not digesting protein well enough, and that's probably getting stuck in your gut and causing other issues. But anyways,
Dude, that's a sick knowledge, yo.
Yeah.
but minerals require for so many different things. So like the things that I've seen when I was taking it, my nails got stronger. I was going to the bathroom more regularly.
And pinker. Like, more
Pinker.
healthier.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. And then, of course, it's an expectorant, so expelling all that mucus. And mucus is what holds toxins in your system. So you're actually detoxing at the same time, right? And then it can help things like acne. It can help with hair loss because your hair is literally made of minerals. And a little bit of keratin, but minerals, you know what I mean? And yeah, so again, like when I started kind of getting into like the products and giving access to people of them, it was more like I would never sell or recommend something I've never tried myself or I don't have knowledge on. So it wasn't like, so when I bought the CMOS, I was like, I gotta try this. And that's when I was like, more people need this. Like, I've never seen this shit before. I was like, why is it that I have to buy this thing and it's costing me $30 in shipping? But I did it. I didn't give a shit. I was like, I'm gonna do it, and it was phenomenal. And like ever since like then, my life has changed in regards to share that knowledge, because like if you break it down, it's not like you're having to buy organic everything. It's for most people, it's not financially feasible, which is totally understandable. That's why we have these different things that kind of help support our body, right? So like I mentioned, the minerals in the sea moss they're just helping your body function optimally.
Yeah.
And if it can do that, getting sick will be very rare, and it'll be easy to pass. You know?
What happens with the sea moss when you get it? Because you've given us, first of all, you're at Rhythm and Flow 2, which is our live show series.
That was wicked, man.
You're wicked. You did really good there, right?
Thanks.
Like, people liked you.
Yeah.
I remember people being like, yo, that, like, the fact that people took to you, the fact that our audience is, like, mindful and happy to, like, see that stuff, like, was such a good, happy, positive thing.
Oh, I loved it. That was awesome. That was when I launched the capsules, too, and I was like, how did all of these get sold? I'm like, I gotta go back and make some more.
Yes.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And that's right? And it's, like, it pairs with that, like, mindfulness, awareness, that, like, positive energy, and it's very in line with it. At the show, I think I got a bag of dried seaweed from you.
Sea moss.
Sea moss, sorry. Sea moss. That's exactly what we're saying.
It's a little different.
My seaweed is making me...
Can you tell us the difference? Because I kind of said it was... Someone's asked me before, and I'm like, it's from the sea. Like
it is from the
like
sea,
seaweed, but it's sea moss.
Yeah, so it's got different components to it. Like if you put seaweed in water, is it gonna gelatinize? Is it gonna get thick?
So that was gonna lead me to that question.
But seaweed does have a high amount of minerals in it. But the thing is, they grow at different levels of the ocean. Ooh. So that will determine what minerals it absorbs.
Oh.
So sea moss is deeper?
Well, the seaweed has to be attached to the ground.
To the ground. So the seaweed is on the bottom.
But it depends where you sort. I mean,
so sea moss is closer to the surface, so there's more light on it.
Yeah. So you know the sea moss that I sell. A lot of people are familiar with the golden sea moss. It basically looks a little bit off-white color. But I got the
pink or
full
something?
Spectrum, and it has like the pink, the purple, the green.
I love
all
it.
those
So
colors
pretty.
have all the extra phytonutrients in it.
I love it.
Right? So it depends how long they leave it in the sun. Those phytonutrients will slowly go away. It's like if you put a bumper sticker on your car that's like black, over the year it fades. Right? So same thing with the sea moss. If you leave it out in the sun too long, it's gonna remove remove more nutrients. That's why I went with the full spectrum. Yeah, it can taste terrible when it's plain, but it's full of all that other stuff. That's why it's so strong.
But didn't the last one you gave us, so I want to ask you about that soaking process, but the last one we got from you was mango, and how are you doing that? Because that was so delicious. You could just spoon one of those right in your mouth.
I know.
Like the priest, put it in your mouth.
Did we tell that story on camera?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, nice.
I know. As I was saying it, I'm like, did I say this whole story? And then I also had a secondary realization, like, I said this whole story.
You did.
Company culture now. Okay, but the mango is a natural mango, obviously.
Yeah, so what I did, so generally when you make the sea moss, you get the raw, you let it soak for at least, I normally say at least a day. Sometimes people do it for less, but I find it's easier to blend.
And it was kind of hard.
Yeah, it depends. Did you?
It's like pasta.
Did you let it soak in the fridge or on the counter?
In the fridge.
Countertop next time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because the cold keeps it like this, and this is letting it expand.
because I've tried it both, and I noticed when I did it in the fridge,
It was harder.
It was harder, and it took longer to break down.
It's kind of a neat little gummy, like if you like a bubble tea, it's kind of a neat little thing, but it made me actually a little allergic. I'm a little bit allergic to like grass and almonds and apples, and like this crunchy quality that comes from nature, like a pectin kind of.
Yeah.
So it's like when we get the moss from you, I'm good because it's all gelatinous. And then when we made it ourselves from the dry to that, and I guess made the mistake of keeping it in the fridge, that little crispiness gave me the kind of phylactic kind of
Our
swell.
blenders weren't having it either. They were
At the time.
overheating and like it just.
Honestly, I use a Vitamix when I make it, and like even that sometimes I have to give it a break.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and the thing
So
is,
that's labor intensive for you a little bit.
sort of the blending process. Other than that, not really.
Can you ship those jars to people?
No.
I probably could, but like
It's
it would
expensive
cost
in
way
weight.
too much. Weight, because I keep it in glass, and there's a reason I keep it in glass because we don't like the plastic.
I appreciate that.
But also because it needs to stay cold. Like, to ship something
Yeah.
refrigerated, it's just too much for someone like me, actually.
So say we have friends in the States who would like love, I could totally see like Glow and Lindsay being like, let's try the sea moss.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, can someone from America order sea moss from you somehow?
I haven't had it as of yet, but I've had a couple of my friends who live in the States be like, hey, I want your sea moss. I'm like, well, see, the thing is,
So is it dried? Can you
It's
send it over
dried.
the border dried? Why
I
not?
haven't tried yet, but there's issues at the border now with
Yeah.
this kind of stuff.
Why?
Like, even
'Cause
when
it's like-
the last time I got my bulk order of the sea moss, I noticed, like, well, it took a while to come, like, longer than it normally did. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And I get it, I receive it, and, like, they've ripped open the boxes, inspected it, and I'm like, what the fuck? But, like, the thing is, the company that I order it from, I know they're legit source because they have all, like, the paperwork to go along with it.
Nice.
But I guess the paperwork wasn't enough, and they still ripped it open.
Okay, was it, why did it touch the States?
No, that was,
From Jamaica, right?
it comes from St. Lucia.
St. Lucia?
So they have a warehouse in Florida,
Put that sunshine. Okay. That's fine.
right? So that way they can distribute
Storage.
it. Yeah.
Okay, so it's coming from Florida then, really. But if you were,
well,
I was going to say,
they get it from St. Lucia. Like, the company
Yeah.
is in St. Lucia,
Yeah.
but their warehouse where they distribute it
Yeah.
from is Florida.
I get it totally,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying that's why it directly is coming from there. Because I was
Yeah.
also going to say it was intercepted because it's a big package from the Caribbean to Canada.
Yeah.
So what do they think is in it? That's
Yeah, no. It's but I find every time I order a bigger quantity, that's when they keep inspecting it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, for fuck.
Okay, so right now you're serving Canadian clients for sure.
Yeah, I am looking into the States. I'm gonna have to test it out with some of my friends to see if it makes it.
Yeah.
yeah.
It probably will, yo. I mean, as long as it's not
Yeah.
something that's exclusively advertised, as long as it's not heroin, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like if I shipped it to the States, I would have to limit one per order because if it gets too
Yeah.
big,
Yeah.
that's when they're gonna break it open and be like, "What is this?"
Wrap it in
Da-da-da.
a T-shirt and write a note that says like, "Auntie, try this in your tea." You know, just
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I guess lying isn't cool all the
Yeah.
time.
Do you think is there a difference between the benefits that you're receiving if you take it in a gel or a capsule?
Nice question.
Well, I mean, the gel is gonna be more potent.
Yeah.
A lot more
I
potent.
feel like the gel, that's my fave form.
Yeah.
I liked the capsules.
I
and
came
they-
out with the capsules because when I moved out of Toronto, a lot of my people who were getting it were local. But then when I left, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be selling the raw, and a lot of people like, I just don't want to make it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. They're like, can you ship me the jar? I'm like, no. Like, that's why sometimes I'll come to Toronto. I'll do a couple deliveries at once, but like I won't have a third party person do it because it's
I
not
appreciate
cost
that.
effective. But
Yeah.
that's why I came out with the capsules because I'm like, okay, it's a convenient, easy way for people to take it. And then the capsules, it's organic sea moss, and it's also bladder wrack, which is another herb from the ocean. Together, synergistically, they have all the minerals the body requires.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I
so
didn't
they
know.
are a little bit different, but I mean, I prefer even to take the gel over the
Yeah.
capsules.
I don't know. There's something about it. It also might be like slight placebo, but I think it gives me energy or like
it does.
stabilizes my energy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, mineral deficiency makes you be tired and sluggish.
Yeah.
It's like when,
Yeah.
a lot of women are iron deficient. That's a mineral. If you're iron deficient, symptom is being tired.
Because they lose the blood.
Yep.
I feel like everyone's tired lately.
I know.
It's that tap water.
That.
Also, we touched on something. I feel like this is like such a fulfilling episode. I can't wait for this like to be out because it's such a valuable, so many things in here. But we touched on something, and we ended up talking about religion because it's fun. But you mentioned something on almost a medical level earlier, and I'd love to get into this because I think a little bit the science world at large is very much caught between Newtonian and quantum, and like accepting that like through the double slit experiment that the observation of something and the energy of consciousness affects the materialized outcome. And there's seems to be matter-based science that seems to be very that's what Western medical process is informed by. It's very after the fact. And then there's an energetic kind of self-awareness, always present health perception, which is probably closer to your field of practice, holistic, or consideration on more things than just measuring matter, something that is already fact. It's the creation of your health via belief. So like, either when you work with someone or when you change your life personally, are you aware of this fourth entity in the room of energy and consciousness and belief and thoughts? And how can we start to teach that to people on an accessible level? Because not everyone is going to be at Hanlon's doing acid on Monday at noon like me. And it's easy for me to see these things.
Sorry.
I'm saying, it's easy for me, a full-time artist, with my dick in the sun on acid on a Monday day. Of course I'll see these things because I have the time to look at it. But how can someone in the thick of it, in a job, kids, they're telling themselves no time to meditate, even though that's just a lie. You just have to get up a little bit earlier, so you should always prioritize meditation. Shout out your boy. That's my thought. But anyway, how can we start to teach belief on a practical medical level?
Medical level, that's, I don't know.
Considering yourself a medical level, because we've got to respect it.
I can't legally say that.
Well, all right, fine, to your criteria of liability.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, if I'm going to, this to me is medical usage of cannabis, because I use it to avoid symptoms of whatever they said I was diagnosed of. Like, it literally helps with my Tourette's so much. Like, so much. Like, if I don't smoke weed, it's like, constantly.
Yeah.
And it's just so nice to be able to find that. So I consider it medical usage. I consider the CMOS a medical usage. And that's just like my own, perhaps vague, slanganized term of it. So you don't have to continue with that. Let's just say self-wellness then.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay,
Belief in wellness.
I feel like it has to do a lot with just the way people speak on themselves. I actually saw something the other day. I forget how exactly it was worded, but it's like, next time you have like a cold or a flu and people ask you, what do you have? Just like, instead of saying I'm sick, say I'm healing.
That's
like little things like that. But like, again, it's hard to say.
Do you think that people, like, for me, the initial thing that happened in my body was like, if I were to change that language to I'm healing, I feel like I would be like misunderstood by like, I am sick and I need rest, but I'm saying I'm healing, and I feel like you're going to take that as she must be at a place where she has capacity to. Do you know what I mean?
But at the same time, I don't want to I don't mean to sound like a jerk, but like, who cares what other people think? Like,
that's true.
That's a huge problem in regards to health too. Like, maybe that's why I got ill. Could have been because like for years prior to that, I had terrible sense of self-worth. I was talking down to myself all the time. You know what I mean? So like, I think it has a huge impact, and I find that like when I say fuck you to Western medicine, I'm gonna prove you wrong. Sometimes you need a jerk attitude to get you through. But that's positive in its own way, you know what I mean? And I feel like not everyone is like me, because I'm finally at the point in my life where I just don't give a fuck. You know how many people don't like me based on what I do? Like, I've gone to doctors, and I had a family doctor, actually it was one of my liver specialists. Oh, what do you do for work? I'm like, yeah, I'm a holistic nutritionist. And then he laughed at me. And he's like, none of that shit works, right? I'm like, well, I'm not taking your medication, so something's working. And after that, he never saw me again. He always had a student come see me.
That's pretty, you've had pretty intense experiences with sort of these medical professionals.
I mean, when people talk down to me, I'm not going to put up with their shit.
That's the priest thing.
When I used to be the person to let people talk down to me, that's when I was at the darkest place in my life.
Yeah.
And that was before I got sick.
Yeah, because that was just crossing all sorts
it's
of
just like- 'cause,
energetic boundaries.
Right, but I also have a big heart where I like care how people around me feel, but it's just like, if you're gonna be talking shit, I'm gonna tell you how it is. Like,
That's nice,
I'm
though. I
telling
think
you.
the honesty actually, it's like a fast track to authentic relationship. Because if you're just like how you feel and who you are, and the people that are around you like support you, even if they don't necessarily agree with you, I'm sure you have a lot of people that
Yeah.
do, but just like, I feel like that's such a big part of even this podcast is like, we don't necessarily have to agree with one another, probably not going to be best friends, but just like, there needs to be some type of level of respect that we give one another. That's like the baseline of just like human decency.
Right? Like, there's a lot of people who don't agree with me, and I saw them, a bunch of them leave my life, and they announced their exit. Like, it's not an airport, but all right, bye. But, like...
Isn't that funny when people announce, like, a breakup, like as though traditionally addicted to the pain and drama that it comes with ending a relationship, ceremoniously sending long-winded texts or trying to go through long phone conversations explaining your actions?
Yeah.
Dude, Irish
like-
dip. I'll see you never.
Right?
Bye.
But at the same time, it's like, you don't have to make an explanation to me. If that's the end of a season, then we're
yeah,
going to move
it's all
forward. But
good.
like, and I highly respect the people are still in my life that don't agree with me on
Yep,
everything.
that's what I cherish those.
And,
I have a couple good relationships on Instagram with like doctors, like medical professional, and we've connected on just like that respect it takes to be able just to be in dialogue, respect each other's ways, try to access. You got to be open from the heart though, right? With all those people, you got to be like, try to access your heart. I'm gonna respect that you're doing what you believe is the best thing, and if I had the tools you had, I'd probably do the same thing.
And you know what's really cool about that? If both hearts are in that and they disagree but they respect one another, you're actually leaving yourself open to being, maybe I am wrong or maybe you are right, and
Exactly.
and
But it's not about right and
no,
wrong.
no. I know, but
it's
maybe I'm doing
open-minded.
open-minded.
Open-minded, yeah.
To
You
learn
wouldn't,
more.
otherwise you wouldn't have even access to that because
Yeah.
people have their beliefs, and once they hear the defensive of that, they're like, oh no, like that's I don't even go there. This is what I believe.
Yeah, I agree with that. We all have to have this open, intelligent space of we both don't know something.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the next step. I feel
Yeah.
it's like when we collect and all the points against whatever side you're deciding to subscribe to, it's like there's got to be room for us both to learn.
Exactly.
There got to be.
That's
because,
the best relationships
Yeah.
to have is with someone you disagree with. Because both people, not to say like we're leeches on each other, but it's really great that we both give and take in a relationship. And it's like, I'm learning something from you, you're learning something from me. Like, that's how
pretty
people
good.
grow,
Yeah.
you
That's
know? And it's
and
just,
it may sometimes feel like ruffling feathers,
Yeah.
but fucking maybe you need to have a little
Yeah.
shake off and get pushed just enough to see what you really believe enough in to be
Yeah.
like, no, this is honestly what I feel. This is the truth, and then like the rest I can let go.
Yeah,
You know, when
exactly.
you're pushed back your
It's
whole
hard
shit.
for Canadians.
oh yeah, because we're
We're
way
such
too fucking
pussies.
soft.
But
Fucking
it ends up being passive aggressive though, and
Yeah.
that's like so dangerous for your own self.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, it's about the approach. Like, if people are passionate about something, it's about their approach. Like, some
Yes.
people do the wrong approach, some people will do the right approach. And
What's
at
the
the
right
end,
approach?
it depends who you're talking to, because people have different.
Right.
Like, I've had people in my past, like, they're not part of my life anymore, but people who they would take everything like an attack or everything personally. Like, oh, why did you say it like that? I'm like, I'm just telling you how it is. Like, I'm not here to
Or
offend
how I
anyone.
feel about it.
Yeah, how I feel about it, but it's not me saying that because you feel a different way that you're lower than me, you're in a different position than me. You know what I mean? It's just, I feel that way and this is why.
That's so. I
And if
respect
we kind
that.
of have that mutual understanding of like there's people who are insecure and that's just how they are, and it's just you have to be mindful of
Yeah.
the words you say, not to change who you are, and not to walk over eggshells. Mind you, the people I have to walk over eggshells with, I don't normally have a very close relationship with.
Well, you
'cause
just
it just
can't.
makes it really difficult.
You can't, yeah.
It's just like, I wish you well, but nothing I say is gonna.
You know what? Some relationships I've been able to maintain through this period of time, I find myself having a wonderful time completely ignoring the elephant in the room. Like, just like the biggest thing that we disagree on. And I'm like, hey, how about this small other funny insignificant thing here?
Right.
Like, how about Portuguese chicken?
Right.
Just like, let's talk about this. And if we can both very aware,
Yeah.
but then decide this, that's our playtime.
That's it.
That's our true fun. That's a good, I have a nice little vibe with like, a couple friends that I even met like through Winnie that like we just ideologically did not agree on the approach during the pandy. And it's been fun to be playful in moments like extremely purposefully playful in like that direction instead of even going close to anything near the big elephant in the room. So
and it has to do with being, aware.
Yeah.
Like,
you must be intentional with your interactions. I think when we go into interactions expecting someone to do something to emotionally delight us or things to go our planned route is so dumb.
Yeah.
It's so animalistic. You're just like, things better go my way or I'm going to flip the fuck out.
And the other thing is, too, like, I know I have a lot of controversial views, especially when it comes to natural health, but it's just like, I don't, like, when I first meet someone, I kind of want to feel where they're at on the same, if we're on the same mindset or wavelength in regards to that topic.
How much convincing you're going to have to do.
It's not even that.
Or receive.
I don't bother convincing people anymore. It's a waste of my fucking time.
Yeah.
But it's just like,
Don't bother.
At the same time, it's like, I'm not going to throw a big curveball and just intentionally stir the pot. I'm just going to plant a seed and see how they take it. And then I'll grow the conversation from that. And if it's kind of not going anywhere, let's switch topics. It's all good. We're both experiencing life in our own way. And it's like, we don't always believe, and the same thing has to do with, like, I'm bringing Jesus back into this. The same thing has to do with my faith. Not everyone believes what I believe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they don't have to. I don't expect them to.
But it's like
the world would be boring if everybody
Exactly.
believed the same thing. It would be so monotonous and boring, and everyone would just want to die.
Yeah.
But instead,
Right.
these different perspectives actually keep us fueled to be like individuality. I am me. Ooh, I get to
desires,
be me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's more value in certain conflicts or, opinions. There's more value in a relationship than an opinion you have on something. And some people see you beyond your opinion on some things, and others don't. And then that's where you kind of make the decision if you're going to go the other direction.
That's a
You know
powerful
what I mean?
point of enthusiasm from yourself, though, to decide to keep someone in a certain light and not let their opinion on one thing ruin the way you feel.
And I think it's really
about
important to also, if you do end up turning past from an individual or a certain relationship,
Bless
then
them.
it's just like, wish you the best. Like, I have no ill intentions against you. Like,
Thank you
all
for this.
the best.
Thank you for this interaction.
Exactly. And it's just like, I learned something from you about myself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's a beautiful experience. It shouldn't end in a negative.
Relationships are
Love that.
so complex because we really believe, human beings really believe in forever. Even monogamy, that's not real. Like,
It's
that's a
such a
construct that
construct.
we made up. And
I mean, we are animals at the end of the day.
I mean, and actually, some animals are monogamous. So
Yeah.
you could say that is, I don't know what would happen to an animal is there cheating in the animal kingdom?
They don't give a fuck. It's
Yeah.
just like,
It's just going over that other tree.
let me see your feathers. Do I want to mate with you to create more of you? You know what I mean? But it's like, and again, people have other opinions about relationships, and it's like, do you? I'm gonna do me.
Yeah.
Do what you want, because it's not gonna affect me.
Do
unless
each
it
other.
involves me.
Do
And-
others.
And like, it would be crazy if there was no relationship breakup, but we don't give it any transition time either. Sometimes
life.
when you're done in a relationship, even if it's one party that wants to be done, like, take your time to grieve that shit if you need to, but then
Yeah.
just like keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
But yeah, relationships,
know.
it's complex. The more we can allow instead of try and hold on to. I think that's where shit gets real messy.
Yeah.
Even in ourselves.
Yeah, totally.
Parts of ourselves, it's like, but I'm that person who's that thing, so I should act like that.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck in this old like recreation way, or you don't let yourself have fluid thoughts about how you feel right now, like what you can like vibe with in the present moment and what your creative expression wants to go from. It's fucking amazing.
Well, I think the biggest challenge that humans have is like, it's like you either don't like change. I mean, nobody really likes change. They don't want to accept change, I guess is the right word. And people just like to be right.
That
and
one,
I mean, you know,
blows
so
my mind.
fucking
And
true,
it's just
so
like-
hard. You're not
let me
always
hear
going to be
your-
right.
Let me hear your perspective and why you believe that. Like, that interests me.
Yeah.
You know, like, I was raised Christian, but I've looked into other kind of spiritualities and religions just because I find them interesting.
Totally.
Doesn't mean I'm gonna necessarily convert, but I love to learn about it. You know, in different cultures even too. It's just like
I think it was the school system. I think most people have had that embarrassing moment between the ages of like 9 and 17 where a teacher fucked up and they shamed a student in front of the rest of the students, and the student was like, I never want to be wrong again. And from then on,
or you went nuts like me, the Joker, and you were like, oh,
Totally.
you want to fucking play? You're right, I'm wrong.
go.
Who thinks I'm wrong? I'll take
Yeah.
more attention up than you,
Yeah, I guess
cocksucker.
there's, like,
and then they were like, get out,
prototypes.
because
Yeah.
they won, because they were the adult. So I got to go have my own private suite in the office, trained me to be an exec. Excuse me, where's the nurse's office? I get to chill in here. Fucking teachers with nice booties walking by. There I was, 7th grade all the time, just like eye level of sweet 35-year-old booties.
I am dead.
I was like, I'm getting kicked out every day. Fuck you guys. Not a
Yeah.
violent offense. I was just a class clown. Couldn't suspend me.
Yeah.
They did, though, sometimes, because I was so
but you still like to
distracting.
be right.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, it is so much part of my ego joy to know that I'm doing the right thing from a moralistic perspective, because I operate on a deeper level than the surface, often playing the villain. I'll say the truth in lyrics, but I'll say it in a melody that will, I hope, piss someone off. And that's the difference between Jenna and I in a
Yeah.
deep way, I think. I think
Yeah.
you are trying to proceed with true, like, people are going to be birds and you have a nice bird's nest,
Yeah.
and I'm a flamethrower.
Yeah.
Because my job is a rapper.
We just have a different approach. I'm more gentle. You're more like, I don't give a fuck.
I
At
love
all.
it. But
Yeah,
deep down,
no, he
you
does.
don't give a fuck how people
Yeah.
feel either. And I think that's a tremendous thing.
I do give a fuck still.
I love that.
I
that's
still
great.
do. But you know, I'm trying to choose when I give a fuck.
Yeah.
I think that's important
Because I used to
too.
give a fuck on everything, and that was not. I was not healthy at that time. That was
Yeah.
definitely when I was in depression. for
Here's
sure.
the thing about, I feel that, I appreciate that honesty. The thing about giving a fuck is deeply thinking you know, because we're labeling good or bad. I remember someone becoming scared of me in school and that helping me.
Yeah.
If he told him I'm a nutcase, he's not going to fight me, he's
Yeah.
not going to fight
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, weird, but awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
And efficient.
And efficient. I'm very efficient. So when you walk authentically, people are just going to be like, oh, he's walking too confidently. Fuck him. So immediately you're a
Yeah.
villain. So it's like you can't even begin to think you know what's going to be good and bad. It's like caring what people think about you is thinking you know what's good and bad. Everybody like me, good. Nobody like me, bad. Not necessarily.
Yep.
Look at fucking Andrew Tate. He's so hated. He's very famous. It's like, you're still making money then? Off of what? Content? Fucking dreamy.
Yeah.
Like, shit. Like, fuck.
Yeah, honestly, that's just like little PSA. If you don't like someone, the best thing that you can do for them is not talk about them on social media at all. Get them out of your.
No, keep talking about it.
I know, but that's like no one. I don't think anyone realizes that though. Like everyone talking about how bad they are or whatever they don't agree with.
Still brings attention to that individual.
Yeah, take it away.
So you played yourself. You know? Like,
Social media.
Dude, that's a strong thing to rap on. That's a fucking strong thing. Be yourself, be authentic. Dude, is
Well,
there...
that became a trend, though. Also, it's a very that authentic, like that. It's tricky.
We'll make the
The
title of this
wellness
episode.
industry is tricky.
Authentically Well with Jenna.
Nice.
Love
Hey.
it. Love it.
Nice.
Love it.
Just wrote it right
it.
there. So Ellevan editing, there you go. That's what the title is. Make the thumbnail now so you don't have to make it on release day. I'm just kidding. We're actually fucking like 3 or 4 years ahead.
Years.
We've been
3 or
shooting
4.
3 episodes a day for months.
Is there that many people in the city?
No, we're actually only 3 weeks ahead, and I feel like I have fucking $300,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that
This
for
is
you.
the first time we've been
Mentality, man.
consistent
Yeah.
with being ahead. It's very exciting.
Yeah, so I'm just doubling down on this fucking spaceship and hope that it flies really high.
Jenna,
for
is
being
there
on,
anything
dude.
that we missed out on?
I so
Anything that you
appreciate
want
you.
to tell the people that we didn't talk about?
I think we kind of nailed everything.
We
I kind of wanted
hit
to
it.
talk
I loved
about.
this. This is exactly the
What
conversation
I wanted.
that I wanted.
I did want to mention one thing. I'm gonna plug myself
We
here.
pissed
Is that
people
okay?
off.
Can I plug
Go.
myself?
Yes.
Okay, so since we've been talking about the CMOS,
Better.
it's live on my website.
Yes.
So I've set the Discipline Stoners viewers and listeners, wherever you're, experiencing this from.
Spotify, YouTube, all the places.
All of the friggin' places. I love that. So if you want to kind of like make that small investment in improving your health and experiencing what, the 3 of us have experienced with it, I'm setting up a cool discount code for y'all.
Yes! Oh, a Discipline Stoners code?
Yeah.
Yes!
Is that the first one?
Let's go. It's not the first one, but
Okay.
this is the most exciting one
Yeah,
so
because
far.
this was a surprise. You
Yeah.
left that at the end for us. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, you gotta listen to the whole thing. If you don't listen to the whole thing, sorry, full price.
Oh, but can it be a clip though?
What is it? No. But you gotta. We won't reveal what the clip is. You gotta watch the whole episode. But we'll take what she just said and make it a
Yeah.
clip.
Okay,
I mean,
nice.
if you want to.
What is the code?
The code is disciplined.
Ooh.
And you're gonna get a sweet discount on the moss, and it's just never gonna expire. So,
Look, this is what you guys, we've been talking about this, and people ask us. This is now right here in front of you for you to try it. I'm not joking. You're going to all of our smoker buddies, all of the
telling you.
inhalators.
It's for the
please.
smokers, guys. We
Yeah.
we take it because we are smokers. It clears. You can feel it.
You can-
Deeper breaths.
Yeah.
When
It's
was the
just
last
wild.
time you guys had a cold?
You know, I've
I
been sick
don't-
a couple times this year, but it was my own doing.
I don't get colds.
Yeah, he's a healthy
I
boy.
don't know. There might be a correlation here, but it's
But
I
I haven't gotten 6 like we've done 2 months of moss, so
Mm-hmm.
it's been at least 2 months since I've had my last thing. I was sick twice this year, which is more rare. Or yeah, that doesn't
But you
normally
haven't
happen.
been doing the moss.
Yeah.
I know,
'Cause there was
yes.
a time
When
you
I
guys-
wasn't doing the
yeah.
moss, I was getting sick, and then
There
when I
you
started
go.
on the moss,
So,
I will
I
say-
stopped getting sick.
The-
Cold and flu season is coming up.
Yeah.
Or should I say cold and flu season?
I know, I should have just got one from you. Feeling like a fool
That's
right
okay.
now.
Don't worry.
It's something in the minerals. And now that I know where it
telling
comes
you.
from, it makes a lot of sense. And yeah, thank you for doing what you're doing and putting that into the universe and standing by your beliefs.
Yeah.
And being our plug. And
We're gonna link that
being
below.
a homie and believing in us early too. So I appreciate you. You've been around. You've seen us
Absolutely.
build this
you
thing.
guys have
Yeah.
been my day one supporters, so
Yeah,
I
buddy.
appreciate you guys so
Thank
much.
you for-
I'm glad you've had this wonderful experience with it too. That's
Yeah.
all I ever hope for. Like, y'all feel good?
And like,
Appreciate
just
you.
shout out to you. I see you constantly learning, constantly spreading, giving like your Insta audience
Value.
new information, and really just it's very valuable. So we'll put your
my
Instagram
best.
in the link below.
Yeah, where can people find you though if they're listening, driving in their cars? Don't pull out your phone if you're driving. Get a passenger to do
Ask Siri.
it. Yeah. What is your @? Spell it so they can follow you.
So
on
my
Instagram.
@ is Fitlistic Jenna. So FITLISTICJENNA. That's pretty much my handles everywhere. I'm most active on Instagram, but if you're not an Instagram user, you can find me on Facebook. I have a page there.
And what's your website?
My website is www.fitlisticjenna.com. Make it easier. If you can't remember, it's in the links in the bios and all the
Fitlistic.
things. Fitlistic Jenna.
yeah,
The gymnastic quickness.
just pull over right now.
Yeah, just
Go
get
on
on
the
it.
website.
You're in
Stop
traffic
driving.
anyways. Just
Yeah, pull
pull off.
over. go do the follows and then come back
Yeah.
and listen to the end of this, which is happening now.
And I think I need to put it out there too. I love answering questions in the DMs. So if there's anything that comes up, just shoot my way. If I don't have the answer, I'll figure it out and get back to you. But if there's any American listeners who are also interested in the moss, shoot me a message and we'll figure something out for you.
Hey, yeah, for sure. I mean, if their thing is already in Florida, you should be able to figure something out.
I'm gonna do some
You figure it out.
testing with that.
Anyway, love, buddy. Thank you. Subscribe, tell a friend, send nude to those who you're allowed to. Have fun, do dancing, and get yourself some Simos.
And talk to yourself nicely.
Yes.
That was fucking huge. Yeah, talk to your. Be nice, you
Biology of
little bitch.
belief. Biology of belief.
I'm going to find that at the library. I'm so excited.
Good.
Yes.
Good. It's not a big read either. It's pretty
Thank you.
wicked.
You are the craziest turtle that I've ever seen. Ever seen, ever seen. How did you end up here in Jamaica on the beach? On the beach. Everything's so slow around you, but you just won't slow down. This is a new song, but I gotta mention going down. Holy cow. What's this about? Why this turtle is so tripped out? What he took cocaine for? What now? Oh, that turtle just came out near that ship. That's a pirate ship, and they trying to dip. Where can we find this? I think a drug bus just came through, and 2 cops came right by us on a big bus. This turtle's fucked up on coke. That's crazy. Best song I ever wrote. What's with all these rambunctious turtles? I'm not sure it's running circles. What's with this rambunctious turtle? Wrong accent, I know. Fucking spilling around the beach, yeah. What you talking about? Around the waves to sea, I mean, are you playing me? Amazing, I must be hallucinating, cause I just took 16 tabs of acid. Damn, that's the fastest turtle I ever seen. I'll try to grab it. Oh, hold on, I get it. It has no shell, that's a lizard. What's with these rambunctious turtles? Who gave these turtles coke? Mate, that's your fucking rambunctious turtle! Wrong accent, I know. Woo! Phil, get dirty with it, dance with your Alright, I came to Jamaica to say that I want to go sailing, but no way. I just found that I'm so close to these lizards that they hang in the front of the waves, right near the beach dock, and we got new ways to say that these heat racks won't stop. What are they doing? They're reptilian. Let me go again, man. I'm a silly man. I didn't see that they didn't have a shell. That's okay, hold on, pass me hookah shell. Yeah, I do that myself. Is you moving well? What are the fucking all these things just moving around? Everywhere that I go, am I hallucinating? Demonstrating all these psilocybins that I've been taking inside of my body. You know I'm rhyming. She's like, oh, fucking wrong accent. That's fine then. Alright then. High five, friend. In Jamaica, where we playing with these little crazy reptiles in the sand, man. This is the craziest fucking turtle I can't believe I've ever seen run around like that. He was all underneath my beach chair and everything. I absolutely cannot believe that this turtle's so fast inside of Jamaica. Oh my god, I'm high on acid. Ridiculously fast turtles. I'm gonna get off stage after this, but I do fast hurdles like I'm talking to the flow. If you rockin', here we go. Thanks for coming to the show. Yeah, rhythm and flow. I am 11. Follow me on IG. You can find me. Yeah, I be 3 people inside of 1. That's why I'm 11. Yeah, like me, myself, and Irene. Crazy like Jim Carrey too. Yeah, Bar Cathedral, so I'm praying for you. We're making it cool. If you're taping the news, you're a sheep. Fuck all of you. I'm joking in the asshole. Now that's damn though. Yeah, let me pull it back right like a lasso. That's rap, bro. Thank you very much for letting us go on your what? tittle. It's a rambunctious tittle. It's a rambunctious tittle. One more fucking drum solo. As I get the Julian fat sound just to break it down. When you're talking about, you about to break it to the percussion. You get it, keep it and rush it. It's stuff that is super cold like the war over there in Russia. Get it, kill it, crush it. It's a rambunctious tittle. It's a rambunctious show. We all had a real good time. Started with an ohm, so you know where to go for your daily flows. I'm Ellevan, yo. But the hair's about to close the show. Let's go! Make sure to eat girls out. See what I am all about? Quick lips, get this, yeah, quick fit. You get me in a quick 6 top pick, like I'm winning the lottery. How you think I get the girls that want to swallow me? I mean, obviously, they're swatting at me like a fly. She's like, stop talking to me. It's my parents right here. I'm talking about this, man, that's weird. What you really doing about becoming to a freestyle show? Let me go, we're gonna find out.
I made this for you today. This is the best cucumber tomato sandwich that you will ever see made or enjoyed by anyone ever in your life. You can watch this episode and learn how to do it yourself. I'll tell you firsthand right now how delicious it is. You hungry? Let me make you a cucumber, tomato, and basil sandwich on fresh sourdough bread. Yo, today we scored this really fresh, nice sourdough bread. Check this out, slice it right down the center, easy breezy. Nice wide slice for you. Oh, come on. Go to a bakery, a local bakery. I paid $3 for this loaf, this whole loaf. And these 2 slices are gonna be my big sandwich. But you can't just expect wet vegetables to sit on that and not soak through. So, olive oil, hot pan, pepper, salt, rosemary, sizzle, sizzle. Sear your bread. You let that rosemary infuse the olive oil, stick to the bread, let that do its thing.
Now let's get back there.
And chop these tomatoes and cucumbers. But always just enjoy yourself.
You gotta let me have a bite.
I know when wants to do it too. We're partying today. Very simple base, tomatoes. Hello, look at this. Beautiful, simple. Nice and meaty. I like the element of the tomato because it can keep it thick and meaty. Pause. Beautiful. The skin sweet, the flesh aromatic. The rosemary is really cooked into that oil. Put a little paprika on it too, on the side. Cucumber time. Thin, easy, enough to cover the whole thing twice or 4 times, whatever you like. Keep them even, keep them thin, keep it fun, keep it light. I'm having fun all night. Now, you may notice that we have pepper on the tomato. And what are we gonna put on the cucumber then? You wanna add flavor to your sandwich. The other side is done. Sun-dried tomatoes and basil. Let's chop up these sun-dried tomatoes just to sprinkle on top. Adds this kind of Mediterranean antipasta vibe just to have throughout, you know? And instead of lettuce, we do basil with this sandwich. And instead of any Havarti heavy cheeses, we did a goat cheese, which I thought would be really nice. So we have our main ingredients done. I got some fresh basil here. Make a pile of this food before we make a sandwich of it. I like to give the basil the chance to kind of like delight and surprise you throughout the sandwich. It may not be layered the whole way through like lettuce usually is, but when it goes in there, it's really a delight when you get a bite of it. So, we'll bring our other buddy over here. I'm a fan of just simple mayo and mustard. The King Stoner sandwich. Let's dress it up easy, nice. But remember, we did sear the bread, so it not only has that wonderful layer flavor, but it also has some backbone to stand up against sauces. I'm gonna go ahead and make it like a cohesive with the goat cheese and let it introduce itself to that sauce. Meet your new buddies. Maybe toss a little fresh rosemary in there. Hello. Simple and easy, friends. Actually, let me do the other side of goat cheese, because we will put some goat cheese in the middle as well. We do want to have an abundance of our ingredients throughout the sandwich in every which way to really let the personality speak. Yeah, goat cheese is not often thought of for sandwiches, but it's a spreadable. It's like an OG spreadable. Let's assemble. Tomatoes. Layer like a sexy Greek goddess. Treat her with respect. Join its friends. They could have been from the same patch. You ever think about that? Same patch? Is that where they grow tomatoes? Patches? The only thing missing from a caprese is the bocconcini here with this vibe, because you're getting the basil, you're getting the tomato, you're getting the salt and pepper, you're getting the olive oil. Just crank out some of these cucumbers here, these salted cucumbers. Try to sneak some in there, double layer. I got double layered cukes on the sandwich and you know about it. So Astounded, go stream it now.
I got double decker flows on the road, what you know about it? Couple levels up when I move and I go around them. Only focus on where I'm going, I don't beat around it. You know who you talking to, you can see by who's around them. Double decker flows on the road, what you know about it?
What more do you want from me? Get the fuck out of my face, look at this. I did promise more cheese. Oh. If you're asking me, a guy like me, that looks like a beautiful sandwich right now. I'm gonna fold her over. Okay, I'm gonna bless this now with some olive oil. Something I do on every sandwich. The olive oil is blessed. Ah, we did it! Let's eat this sandwich that we just made. Cucumber, tomato, basil, sun-dried tomato, goat cheese, salt and pepper, olive oil, mustard, and mayo. Hope you enjoyed yourself. I know we started with saying, are you hungry? You hungry? And I was gonna make this for you, but we're over the internet. So I'm gonna eat it. I'll tell you how it goes. And you let me know what else you wanna see me cook. This is just a classic, awesome, it's a stoner snack. It's also just like a healthy person snack. Get the sourdough bread, go to the bakery, get the $3 whole loaf. This whole thing, $3 at a real bakery. And you're not victim to having to buy meat. Meat is like $1,000 now. This is a beautiful, unctuous, fulfilling, healthy snack and sandwich. Searing the bread is a big thing here. It's like you ordered it at the Ritz-Carlton. It's like if you ordered a sandwich from the Ritz-Carlton. It's like Ritz-Carlton tomato and cucumber sandwich. You hungry? You want Ritz-Carlton cucumber tomato sandwich? I made this for you today. I tried to make this today. can you please subscribe to this channel? It's a podcast, Disciplined Stoners. New episode every Friday at 7 p.m. EST. I want more of this right now. I can't talk anymore. Love you. Bye.
Okay, so now we have this